All right, beautiful people. So today we're talking about writing fractions with equivalent fractions. And our essential question is, why can we write fractions in different forms? So why do we find equivalent fractions? Why do we do that? And how does that work? So we're going to recall what a fraction is. A fraction. And a fraction, remember, is a comparison between a part and a whole. Okay, and it's got a numerator and a denominator. Now, fractions, let's start with an example 1, about writing equivalent fractions. Example 1, writing equivalent fractions. Now, there are all sorts of reasons why you might want to write in a fraction in an equivalent measure. Like maybe you're trying to add fractions together or subtract fractions together. Then you have to find fractions that have the same denominator, which is why you need to find equivalent fractions. Or let's say that you just want to compare it with something else and see whether or not it's bigger than another fraction. So finding the same denominator will again help you compare those two things. So we're going to write some equivalent fractions. So we're going to start with 1/2 because I think that it's the easiest one and it's the one that people know the most. So equivalent fractions to 1/2. So if I took a little drawing and I split it in half, 1/2 would be just one side of it, right? Okay. But in order to find an equivalent fraction, I can break that original drawing into more pieces and find an equivalent amount. So if I broke both of the halves in half, okay, then all of a sudden I have fourths, right? Because now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and 2 of them are shaded. So this is 2/4, okay? Now, if I took that 1/2 and I broke it again, let's say I broke it horizontally this time. Okay, now I have 4 on the bottom and 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top. So it's also equivalent to something in eighths. So now I've got 8 pieces, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 shaded in. So 4/8. Okay. Do you see how I'm getting equivalent fractions just by breaking the original fraction piece into more pieces? Okay. Now let's think about this mathematically. I had 1/2. In order to get from 1/2 to 2/4, I broke it into 2 pieces. I broke the half into 2 pieces. So I multiplied by 2. Because 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So that's how I got the second fraction, 2/4. Now, in order to get 2/4 and make it become 4/8, I broke it again in 2. Do you remember? Because I drew that horizontal line. So again, I'm breaking it into 2 pieces, or I'm multiplying by 2. 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8, so 4/8. So to find equivalent fractions, basically what we're doing is multiplying the top, the numerator, and the bottom, the denominator, by the same number. So let's write our key idea for today. So key idea, which is to find equivalent fractions, multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. Okay, now this works, remember, again, because I'm splitting that original fraction into more pieces. So over here on the left, I'm just going to remind myself that a numerator is the top number. So like if I have 5/7, the numerator, it's the one that represents how many are shaded in, and the denominator is the bottom number, or the number of total pieces the whole has been split into. Just so that I remember. So our key idea is to find equivalent fractions, you multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. And it's important it's the same number, because if it's not the same number, then you didn't split the fraction perfectly, okay? So let's do another example. Okay, 2/5. Now, 2/5. If I split one block into fifths, then I'll have 2/5. So let's think, let's multiply the top number and the bottom number by the same number. Let's multiply by 2. I'm going to get 4/10. So this is an equivalent fraction.